Oh, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the National Transition Event 26 webinar. Thank you for taking the time for joining us. In case you missed it, we are now recording, and the idea is that we will then send out the file along with the slides for you later so you can share with your colleagues. Looking at the registrations, we've got a great mix of familiar faces along with some new, so thank you very much for joining us. You're all very welcome. So firstly, I'd like to introduce James Cameron, CEO of Mission Community and Mission Motorsport, and creator of the National Transition Event, who's going to give us a flavour of what NTE is all about. Over to you, James.
Thank you. I should point out the reason that I'm sat with a rather strange background is because having preached to everybody that they need to make sure they're taking their leave, it was pointed out to me that I hadn't taken any. So this half-term week, I'm on various duties. I think over my shoulder, you can probably see there's a Halfords and there's a Pure Gym. I'll leave it up to you to guess which one that I'll be going in shortly. But I really wanted to come and just steal the thunder really from Kate and Johnny completely. Because I'm so enthusiastic about what NTE brings to us, a community. It's one of those lovely things that we hear about and it drip feeds back to us throughout the course of the year. Feedback from people who've come along as attendees or as supporters or as exhibitors and have made really meaningful connections which have genuinely impacted and taken people's lives onto a better place. It is a fantastic platform, and it's one that we're very proud to be able to provide, not just to last year 47 charities, then with the government agencies that come along as well, the veteran-owned businesses that are platformed through the event. But that business to business and the charity to business and your interactions with beneficiaries are the things that we really want to make the most of to give you the best possible use of that platform on March the 2nd next year. And so we really wanted to be able to engage with you at an early opportunity to help us to design the thing that I think we're going to be really proud of next year. It only grows, and with increasing government focus onto sectors like clean energy, might have seen the announcements over the course of the last couple of weeks. There's real focus which then drives towards how do we build, promote and allow to prosper these veteran communities that make up our armed forces community. At that point, I'm going to hand over to the guys to allow you to take through this. I'm going to go and get on with my day as I head probably towards Halfords. And thank you very much indeed for participating. I'm really looking forward to seeing what the feedback comes. Thank you.
Thank you, James. So for us, it is all about community, of which colleagues in our sector, the touch points we have with the armed forces community are varied and vast. And for us, NTE is all about how we bring together our community, the third sector within defence and within the armed forces. And it is beyond an event. It has huge impact and it creates so many meaningful connections with your organisations and also with industry, government, and so much more. And for us, it's all about this magic. We do know that NTE isn't a jobs fair. You might want to call it a life festival almost. It has that kind of vibe. And we can wax lyrical about it. For those of you who have been, can share your own personal experiences of it. But it's all about those that make those connections. The service leaver, the veteran, the family member, the cadet these days, and those that have trod that path before them. People like Steve Lees at Jaguar Land Rover, who shares his story in this next video, which we shall now share.
You know, it is hard. And the people who succeed are the people who engage early. My name's Steve Lees. I am the Armed Force Engagement Lead for JLR, Jaguar Land Rover. I left the Army in 2013 on redundancy. I didn't find my first job for a year after I'd left. And I got to the point at one stage where I was stood outside cash converters with my TV just to pay the rent. And then a few years ago, this opportunity to come and be the Armed Force Engagement Programme Manager at Jaguar Land Rover came up, working at the time through Mission Motorsport, the Forces Motorsport charity. And so I reached out to the team. I said, what is it you're looking for? And within a short space of time after that, I ended up in this role. It's allowed me to look at the mistakes I made and then hopefully help other people with advice in being able to show them what it is that they can do to help them engage with employers, to help them find the job, not a job, and hopefully find sustainable employment beyond service.
My name's James. I'm a REME aviation technician. Found that I've got to a ceiling and I really want something new. The main big driver is to support my family more.
So Jimmy and I first met through a referral through one of our veteran employees at Jaguar Land Rover, and he'd reached out to her, recognising that she worked at a company that he was interested in. And then from there we've had a number of Teams calls.
And this is the first face-to-face interaction that we've had at this event.
So it's a really good example of how the network is so important, your armed forces network, and reaching out to veterans within organisations you're interested in is really important.
The more time you spend networking and engaging with employers, the better chance that you're going to have in finding the job rather than a job.
It absolutely captures the magic of NTE. You saw there two veterans that had never served together before, but have been interacting on LinkedIn. And where it all comes together is NTE under one roof, where veterans can connect with those people that have already trodden the path before them, and with those organisations like yours, where they can have those life-changing, life-affirming and life-enhancing conversations. So for us, NTE has always been about that magic, the magic that you've just witnessed through that video. It has always been about bringing the Armed Forces community together to meet those supportive organisations. We know and we absolutely promote the efforts of government through the Career Transition Partnership and other organisations like the Forces Employment Charity who focus on employment. But for us, NTE is more than just the job. It's about the whole offer, that the wraparound ecosystem, as it were, that enables our service leavers and veterans and reservists and cadets to live a fulfilling life within society. And we bring it all together under one roof. So it's a chance to have these meaningful conversations, the conversations that you've just witnessed in that video. Imagine those conversations you just witnessed there, times that by 100, 1,000 even, and all of a sudden that encapsulates the magic of NTE. And you just see there just one of the quotes, the many quotes we receive in our feedback after the event that captures what this means to people. And that vital thing there, families. So who comes to NTE? Kate, over to you.
Right. So prepared several slides for you, but we're going to rattle through them so that we have time for questions at the end. You can read and digest at your leisure. But we wanted to quickly show you some information about it. So for NTE 25 this year, there were 79% were aged between the ages of 25 and 54. And 7% were between 18 and 24 years of age, so perfect for apprenticeships and junior leadership positions. 54% of attendees were still serving, and we would like your help to increase that number further. And the number of female attendees was really pleasing. We will share with you how we plan to increase this and increase the family number also. And I'm just showing another quote there that NTE has given me a broader insight and understanding of what I should have been looking for also during my transition phase. And it's just one of the many quotes that were sent to us after the event, showing that hopefully we are on the right track, but obviously we can always improve further. So again, looking at data from 25, we found that 70% were in resettlement, which was quite surprising in some ways. That was quite high. We did think that perhaps we had more veterans coming, but in fact it's 70% were in resettlement. 5% were pending a medical discharge. 12% were intending to leave in the next 2 to 5 years. So in other words, we're catching them really nice and early, which is brilliant. But 13% had no plans to leave yet. So that was interesting in itself, is the fact that they're still looking at their options. So who else comes in the way of attendees? We've got 46 charities there, 32 COPSIO members and 14 non-COPSIO members. So these, along with the 17 government organisations, including DWP, Army Hive, Security Services Group and Reserve and Regular Units, along with others, plus 33 ex-forces enterprise business startups. We've got quite a number of attendees who come free of charge, which we are very pleased to say are actually helped to come free of charge because of the sponsorship and also the other exhibitors who pay to come along. So there's a vast majority who do come for free, and we're really proud of this because it's enabling those to provide the services for those attendees coming through the door. It's the one place where you can get this holistic approach of everyone being under the same roof and there to support. So we thought you might like to see some of the feedback that we also have had. This slide is rather busy, but you can read it again in your own time. But it was pleasing to see some of the words that pop up again and again. Things like collaboration, support, excitement, industry connections, strategic partnerships, and working together, to name a few. So moving on again, I'm going to hand over to Johnny again, who's going to talk a bit about what you can expect for NTE 26.
So, of course, there are those staple elements of NTE that you've come to love and expect. And I think the first one of those is volume, including those that were behind exhibitor stands that identify themselves as part of the Armed Forces community. It actually looks more something like 1,900 members of the Armed Forces community. But out of those, around 1,000 are looking for the next step in their own career or their own life. So we expect to see this increase, and it has increased the trends year on year. We also expect to see you there, our exhibitors, from across those subsectors of industry, the third sector and government support organisations. And each year as they evolve, we include them there as well. Now, Kate did say, and we'll probably come on to the call to action at the end, you are there for free, and we're really proud of that. And as part of that value exchange, the thing that we would love, because it has a direct impact on that first point, is tell the story of NTE. You saw the video earlier on capturing the magic of this, and we will share this with you. Share it with your communities, your beneficiaries. I myself have been there as a beneficiary. I've been there as a third sector exhibitor, a volunteer, and now as an employee, as part of the team at Mission Community. So I've seen it at various angles, and I know what benefit it's had on me. But we need to tell those stories, and telling those stories from the organisations that they trust. And for me, as the founder of the Afghanistan Veterans Community in my spare time, let's just say, I know the trust that we have amongst that particular cohort of veterans. And these are exactly the organisations and the communities that trust you. So help us tell the story as part of that value exchange of coming to NTE for free. We also expect the usual of our exhibitor halls, of which there are 3 giant halls. We then have the 3 giant garages and the mezzanines that accompany those. In the mezzanine, you can come to expect the community stage. That worked really well last year. That was one of our changes. We had a veterans open mic there we piloted for the first time. We're looking at expanding that so that veterans can tell their stories. We're looking at expanding the networking opportunity. We know that this is where the Gold Award Association come together face to face and are able to have their time with our friends at Defence Relationship Management, the Minister and others to have their own meeting. And again, we're really proud of being able to offer that space for the Gold Award Association. And of course, things like sector presentations. The Troops Track Day. Now, let's face it, it's a draw. It's the honey that draws the bees. And this gives that exclusive experience. We are the only organisation outside of Silverstone that offers access to the GP track. You can do it, but you have to pay a pretty penny with Silverstone. So we're able to offer this. And last year we had about 1,000 track rides throughout the course of the day. And we look to produce that year on year as with Mission Motorsport, the Forces Motorsport charity. And of course, the event guide, something we introduced as a printed format a couple of years ago. And this gives people the opportunity to guide their way and navigate their way around all the different organisations. And for you, it gives your brand the opportunity to be featured within the guide too. What to expect this year? We will be bringing back LinkedIn. LinkedIn bring an enormous amount of value. In previous years, they brought photographers for professional headshots, and they've also issued premium licenses that cost within the range of, I think, 600 quid a piece, thereabouts. And it's the only event outside of the States where they offer this kind of facility. So they're confirmed to come back. We're looking at CV and interview techniques workshops, not us doing those, but we've in the past had the likes of Forces Employment Charity. We've had industry delivering those in the past. And of course, we like to see our small businesses there too, to really showcase another element of the through life experience of leaving the armed forces, or indeed many people have their own businesses whilst they're still serving, or their family members whilst they're serving have their own businesses too. And this year, as part of that theme of collaboration, brand new, we're really proud of building our relationship with the RAF Association, who deliver an enormous service across our armed forces community with their RAFA kids. And we're looking at offering early years care for a particular cohort at NTE. Now, we believe, in fact, we know that by adding and removing those barriers for inclusion, particularly for families, through things like childcare, it's a bit like when you go to IKEA, isn't it? And you have the ability, before you go up the escalator of doom, to be able to leave your child in some safe, approved hands, that you'll be able to then go and do what you need to do and get out of there as quick as possible. Well, for us, it's not about getting people in and out as quick as possible. In this case, it's about making sure that the whole family can come, so that you and your family member, your spouse, can actually have those career conversations, so that you haven't got to wait. You haven't got to take that story home and say, I've got this brilliant opportunity. And then they say, oh yeah, that's not going to work because this thing. Did you ask them about this? So actually having your family member with you as you're having these life-changing conversations is going to improve the chances for successful transition. And also, we believe we'll see increased attendance across families. And we know you in the third sector are particularly interested in meeting more and more families. And for the first time 2 years ago, we had the family zone. And we believe that to be really busy this year because of by removing barriers. We've also had confirmed the inclusion of cadets we piloted last year in a limited way. We have got sponsored, paid for karting activity for cadets, because they can't go on the track for obvious reasons, but they can go to the brand new karting experience at Silverstone. Brand new at Silverstone. Amazing. So we believe that, again, that this will see an increase in cadets, and we know that people are very interested in cadets at the moment, and it's only right that when we say the armed forces community, we mean every single part of it, and that includes the cadets, and I'm really in particular proud of that. And then the night before, on the Sunday, it coincidentally coincides with Mission Motorsport's 13th birthday. Lucky for some, lucky for us. It is the Escapade Party. Now, if you look up Escapade Silverstone, you'll find some very swanky trackside accommodation with a lovely bar and a lovely terrace overlooking the track. We've got access to that. Not many people can do that. But through our relationships with Silverstone, we're really pleased because many of you there the night before anyway, setting up and staying in probably some salubrious accommodation like the Travelodge and other outlets apply. But why not come to the party as well? So talk to us about that to make sure that you're included in that wonderful celebration too. So some new stuff. But in terms of making the most of NTE, these are some of the kind of top tips that we share, and we've got some great examples there of some of those stands. Yes, you've got your standard pop-up, haven't we, Kate? Yep. But by working with Kate, we can be imaginative, but it's probably worth handing over to Kate at this stage to talk about how you can make the most of NTE.
Yes, so it's obviously not rocket science. However, what we do know is that the more you make your stand interactive and interesting as possible, we know that obviously that does attract people to come and talk to you. So please do that as much as you can, and remember to bring a tablecloth. I'm afraid we don't have any of those spare going on the day, so please do that. Use the opportunity to network with other charities and government organisations and the businesses there, of course, because obviously everyone charities are looking to raise funds all the time. So please use that opportunity to go and have a talk, see where that might take you with regards to any nice collaborations that might go on. Promote your events, services and fundraising activities. We know that QR codes work very well, that it's very direct, it's easy to use, isn't it? So please go ahead and do that. And signpost to other organisations onto the day. And I know a lot of you will be doing this, but if you are able to signpost to other useful organisations on the day, all the exhibitors and their locations are going to be shared in advance in the event guide. And just check out where everyone is, so you know where you might be able to send people. Take lots of photographs. That's the other thing. Take lots of photos using your social media. Use the hashtag NTE26. And then hopefully we can get that trending and share a little more. So your organisation can also support us further. In the new year, we will provide a social media pack to assist you in promoting it to attendees and other exhibitors along the lines of, will you be there? We did this last year and it worked very well. And so we hope again that you will help us to promote the event and reach as many more people as we can to get along to the NTE. Feel free to add your attendance to your news feeds and letters before and after the event. Any promotion is almost good promotion, isn't it? And something we're happy to provide you with at any time are briefs on the advocacy that we do to across all industry sectors on behalf of the armed forces community. So if you have any team meetings, workshops, conferences, just get in touch and then perhaps we can get involved with those. Things to know. Maybe you should say that, well, I wouldn't have to say this, but we do need to say it to be on the safe side, but please no selling. And it's not an opportunity to fundraise, I'm afraid, but please do support as much as possible the attendees. Giveaways always popular, including sweets, but we are not permitted to allow any drinks or other food because obviously there are food outlets there. And should you require any printing, we do have a livery bay at Mission Motorsport, and they're able to provide you with pull-up banners, other printed materials you might like, right up to vehicle wraps and signage. So the details will be shared in your confirmation email. There's a little PDF that goes with that. So the exhibitor stand spaces, we've got two that we can offer you. We've got the standard space in the hall. And that's a 6-foot trestle table with a chair and space for your pull-up or banner or two, with 2 members. Now we can either offer that in the hall or we can offer that in the garage. Totally up to you what you would prefer, whether you'd like to be a little warmer or a little colder, totally up to you. But should you require power, please can you make sure that you pre-book this when you put in your application. And I'm afraid it is £100 plus the VAT for each socket for that. And the reason for that is that providing the power to the halls costs us dearly, and so we just need to try and cover as much of that as possible. The other thing, I've put down there again, tablecloths. Please remember your tablecloths, but also some extra chairs may be available, and if you ask nicely, then I'll make sure that those are put in place for you. What I will say is that the exhibitor space in the halls will be shared only probably in the last couple of weeks. So I know you'll all be chomping at the bit and wanting to know which hall you're in and where you're going to be. But it really does depend on who books, as depends on where we put you. So with
sorry, Kate, it's also worth making a note about one of the changes we made. In the past, we've grouped charities, third sector together, but we've listened, haven't we?
We have. Yes, no, we found that if you do put charities together. As a whole, people ignore or walk past, and that's not the idea at all. The idea is that if we dot you amongst all the other organisations, then you have a much better chance of speaking to people, but also you might also be able to spot those who might be a bit reticent in approaching you, who may well be wanting your support. So if you can catch them and catch their eye, draw them in and help support them along the way. So that would be really good, please. So we've come to the slide, which is the frequently asked questions, and I've put some together for us, but I'm sure we'll have some more in the chat in a moment. But things like just general timings of the day. For the attendees, it's from 8 o'clock till 5. And exhibitors are requested to set up from 7:30 in the morning. So it's a lovely early start for you if you're not staying over. And to make sure that you are ready by 8 o'clock, because that's when people start to come in. And the breakdown is no earlier than 5. Now, that could change depending on footfall in the halls, but ideally 5 o'clock is the time to be working to. There is free car parking. The paddock side, which is through the south entrance, this is clearly signposted, so it's really easy to find. And access to the site is via an exhibitor car park pass, which has to be positioned on your dashboard before reaching the entrance. So it's not individual tickets. It's this car park pass. So all the members who are driving will end up having to have a car pass to ensure that you get in at that entrance. There is Wi-Fi available, but we cannot guarantee the bandwidth. So if you do have, for instance, a video which you want to show on a laptop, make sure that you've downloaded it first, because we can't guarantee that you'll be able to see it. Arrangements for deliveries to Silverstone. This is a question we get asked many a time. Unfortunately, as Silverstone is a secure site, deliveries and collections are just not possible. There is no way that delivery drivers are allowed into site to do that. So anything that you bring with you, I'm afraid you will have to bring with you on the day rather than have delivered and then collected. And I know this is a popular thing, particularly with literature. I know it's heavy, but we will try and get you as close to the doors as possible. And if you have a trolley, please bring a trolley, always really useful. There is food and drink available. There are 2 main food and drink stations and 2 coffee outlets, but please feel free to bring your own. You're not required to purchase from the stations if you don't want to, because they are a little pricey. And will there be a chance to get out on track? I know we're asked this every single year, and we appreciate that we would just love to give everyone passenger rides, but as you can imagine, if we've got over 1,200 attendees and also around about 550 from the exhibitors, we just don't have that space on track to be able to give everyone a ride. So I'm really sorry, but it is unlikely you're going to get out on track unless you are very, very lucky, and you are very, very nice to us, let's put it that way. So moving on, you're going to want to know how you can book everything. Obviously, if you've got any more questions, you can ask them now. We'll answer them in the chat if you're going to put them in the chat. But all exhibitors, whether you're a charity or the private sector, you need to apply to attend. It doesn't mean to say that you will necessarily be accepted, but we will do our best to accept everyone that we can. We are expecting to be oversubscribed this year, and it is likely that there will be some charities who will be disappointed. But what we will make sure is, if this is the case, we will do our best to rotate places in the future. But the link is there for applying for your space, so please use that link, and we would love to see you at Silverstone. If we have a look now at, have we got anything in the chat in the way of questions? What have we got? So I'm just trying to read just on my other.
Yes.
Already...
So, okay. Already eagerly raised their purchase order. Can I confirm this isn't required this time? In brackets, just £100 per power socket.
I don't have an issue with you raising a purchase order. That's lovely. It's totally up to you whether or not you will need a purchase order. But yes, no, if it's for £100, as long as you're happy to pay for an invoice for £100, then please go ahead. No worries at all. Have we got any other questions out there?
Yeah, and this will be available. So if you want to share this webinar with colleagues, it will be made available. I just really want to stress the piece around, the collaboration element. We are a charity. Many of you, if not all, are charities on this call, and the bit companies do pay to come enables us to give spaces to you for free. We just ask to share this with your community, and we also ask you to get in quick with Kate to book your place. And the sooner we get in, the sooner we can start talking about you, and the sooner that you can talk about us. We just really, really need you to get out there, promote your communities, because you've got communities that trust you, that don't know about the event. It's a great event. It's been going for 7 years, but there's still a hell of a lot of people that don't know about the event. And that's the way we're going to reach these difficult to reach audiences, please. So as much as you can promote, work with us. We'll send you all that you need, logos, assets, all the rest of it, as well as closer to the time, probably in the new year, we'll set up some comms calls, which we can share assets, and we can all start talking about and make an impact around this event, because it's a fantastic event. It really is, isn't it? But thank you, Kate.
Any other questions do we have out there?
You might have got away with it, Kate.
I think we have, haven't we? I think we've got away with it very, very easily. But anyway, no worries at all. If you do have any questions, just get in touch, and obviously we'll answer them as we can. But if that is all at the moment, then we very much look forward to seeing you at NTE on the 2nd of March next year.
Thank you all.
Thank you
for
very
all that
much.
you do in the sector. It's really, really valued. Thank you.